How about now? Can you guys hear me?
Yes, chef.
Great. Okay. So I'm going to let Kasturi do the intro again. Sorry about that.
I don't think there's sound, chef.
Okay, yay. They've got sound.
Okay.
Okay, cool. Okay, so I'm going to let Kasturi do the intro for me again.
Can't hear anything. Welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining us for today's webinar. We're really sorry about the technical. My name, as Chef Danielle said, is Kasturi from Unilever Food Solutions, which is one of the leading food service providers globally. Our presenter today is the Culinary Chef Experience Advisor of Unilever Food Solutions KZN, Chef Danielle Fenter. Today, she will highlight how to price your menu for profit. Just a little housekeeping before we get started. If you have any questions during the presentation, please type them into the question box. Chef will answer them after the presentation. Now, without any further ado, we turn our time over to Chef Danielle.
Morning, everyone. Sorry about the little technical problem that we have. I'm so glad to be here with you guys again for the costing webinar. I know this is probably the biggest problem in our industry at the moment, is costing a recipe properly and also making sure that your menu layout is done correctly. So I'm going to start off with a presentation that I have prepared. So just the basics on recipe costing and understanding the basics of recipe costing and how important it can be for you and your establishment is that you have to know how much food cost is incurred on each recipe. That gives you a clear view of how much you can earn per dish. Basically, what you'll do as a chef is from your management, you will receive a food cost percentage, and that is what you have to work on when it comes to costing a recipe correctly. And how to understand properly the price of your dish and how to achieve your target profit. To study the way your competitor price their dishes against the industry benchmark. What this means is if you are in a strip where there's lots of restaurants, you charge 120 Rand for a burger and the restaurant next to you charges 80 Rand for the burger, I'm sure that the customers will rather go to the 80 Rand burger than the 120 Rand burger. So if you are in that situation, it is always important to make sure that you check what your competitors are doing around you. So if they're charging 80 Rand, you're going to have to drop your price. And that means that your food cost percentage is going to be a little bit higher. But that also means that you will pull people to your restaurant. Then to know when to reduce a recipe cost. If you keep up to date with your costing and you see that you are going beyond your target cost percentage, you can easily plan how to reduce your cost. And then how to find out each menu item's profit margin. Decide which ones to promote through suggestions, selling, and promotions. This means that this can be good for two things. So this could mean that if you've got a specific menu item that your food cost percentage is very low, so that means it's very good for you. That means that you're making a little bit more profit off it. It's good to always tell your front of house and your waiters to push that menu item because, of course, you make more money from it. And then also when you've made quite a lot of that one menu item and you need to get rid of it quite quickly because it's coming close to your sell-by date, it's easy to tell your front of house staff also to push that for you. Now, to determine your food cost, to figure out your selling price of your dishes. Okay, so the food cost is important to know as it has a direct effect on the profitability of a restaurant. It is the cost of your ingredients, and it does not include the other costs such as labor and overheads. So this is only your food cost. So your food cost is an essential tool in determining whether your food cost targets are being met. So there are a couple of tools to make sure that your food costing is done correctly, and that is by a standardized recipe. So costing based on a standardized recipe makes it easy to compute food costs based on the servings that is needed. So I will later on show you an example of a standard recipe. This will also help with wastage at the end of the day. So if you have a standard recipe that all your chefs work from, that means that the dish will be made exactly the same time every time. You know how much to make and there won't be wastage. That will also help with your up-to-date ingredient cost. So knowing what your current prices is. I suggest that so every single time that your supplier delivers a ingredient, it is good to see that last week I paid this much for a cucumber and this week I'm paying more for a cucumber. So to update your cost on a regular basis is very important. You get the very fancy point of sale systems at the moment where this will all do it for you. So it's very handy to have in the hospitality industry. So what you basically do is as soon as you receive stock, you add the price of your ingredient onto the system, and it will automatically, if you've loaded your recipes onto your point of sale system, it will automatically send you a new recommended selling price. Your recipe cost sheet for recording data and all information about the recipe, such as your current unit cost, your actual ingredient cost, and your cost per portion. So how to calculate a recipe cost and how do we apply the numbers and the cost to each standardized recipe. So number one is fill out your recipe costing sheet with the information that is based on the standardized recipe and is based on your current price list. Step two is to indicate the latest purchase cost of each ingredient based on a current price list. Step three, compute the actual cost of each ingredient. Step four is add the actual cost of each ingredient to get the total recipe cost. I know this sounds hectic at the moment, but I will explain it to you a little bit later and it will all make sense in the end. And then step five is to divide the total recipe cost by the number of portions to get the cost per portion. Once you have the cost per portion, you can easily work out your recommended selling price. So next up is just an example of a standardized recipe. Okay, so we've got a Cajun chicken salad. That's a standardized recipe that we're going to use, and we are going to cost it as well. So at the top left corner, you will see that this is a 4-portion recipe. So you know that this recipe is enough for 4 people or 4 servings. Then on the right-hand side is always the heading of your recipe. And then you've got a list of ingredients and your method. This always has to be on your standardized recipe. And then on your left-hand side is your recommended selling price and your cost per portion. Now, this may vary because you pay a different price for lettuce at a supplier than I do.
The slide hasn't changed yet. If you go one back, I think they missed that clearly, yes.
Oh, I don't know why that happened. So that's just a quick overview of the standard recipe template that I just explained. And then we will carry on, so how to work out your selling price. So once you have your food cost, you can figure out the selling price of your dishes with a basic formula. So your selling price is your food cost plus your labor cost and your overhead cost plus profit. So your selling price should include all the costs plus the profit you would like to earn. This meaning that if you do not include one of them, you are basically working for free. And none of us want to work for free, or your restaurant isn't making profit properly. So what should the food cost percentage of your selling price be? To compute the selling price, we need the food cost to only be a certain percentage of the selling price. So the amount varies from one restaurant to the other, and is influenced by other costs such as labor, overheads, and target profit. And it is generally falls within the 30 to 45%. So food costing in practice. So we will do, here's an example to show you how to find the selling price of a dish. So a restaurant has a target food cost of 33%. The newest recipe was calculated to have a food cost of 50 Rand per portion. So applying the 33% rule, the target selling price is 50 Rand divided by 0.33, which gives you 150 Rand. That means the cost of the ingredients was 50 Rand, and you're selling it for 150 Rand. That means that you're making a profit of 100 Rand. From that 100 Rand, as I said, your overheads, your labor, your rents, your water, electricity, all that stuff needs to come off. And then the rest of it you put into your pocket, which is pure profit. So given this number, the establishment can decide on a final selling price, considering other factors such as the competitors, the volume, and the labor cost. I will now switch over to an example of, sorry. Okay, so let me do an example for you on a recipe. Okay, so as you can see, we are doing a recipe costing on the Cajun chicken salad. I have included the whole presentation as well as the recipe costing sheet on Excel in your handout, so it's easy for you to just input your prices and it will give you your recipe cost at the end of it. Okay, so top left will also be always be your recipe name, which is your Cajun chicken salad, and the recipe yields 4. The number of size portions, it all depends. You can add it in there if you want. Say you're doing soup, you can say it makes 16 portions each. And to add the date on there so that you know how up to date your recipe costing is. On the right hand side will be your markup. We are working on a, as I said, 33% food cost. You can change this if you want to. So if your food cost is 45%, you can just say 0.45. Then it will give you your total cost per dish. Of measure, so it's 400 grams. So you will see this going down. I've added all of that in already. What I've done also is I have added in the size of the unit of the packaging that you receive. So you'll see that my chicken breast I get in a box of, no sound again. Does everybody else have sound? Okay, it's back. Okay. Thanks, Sharika. R626.30. Always remember to add commas when you're working in Excel, and the sound comes and goes. Sorry guys, I really am sorry. I'm not sure why this is happening. This is technology. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll just carry on. So once I've clicked enter, it will give me the cost of 25 Rand and 5 cents that I pay for this recipe. Sounds like we're underwater. Sorry guys, I'm reading all of your comments as you're putting them in. So I'm not going to bore you with how to input all of them. So I will just speak through it while I do this. So lettuce comes in 100 grams. We need 150. We pay 19 Rand 99. Cucumber, we need 100 grams. Actually, average size is about 400 grams, and we pay 13 Rand 99 for cucumber. You'll see the prices on the side change all the time. Oil is the most expensive thing at the moment, even worse than petrol at the moment. So you know your partner loves you when they give you some petrol or diesel as a gift. We are currently paying 1,100 Rand for a 20-litre drum. Cherry tomatoes, also very expensive at the moment. We're paying 31 Rand 99. Red onions, 37 Rand 99 for a kilo. The feta cheese, we're paying 289 Rand 65 for a 4-kilo bucket. Carrots, 29 Rand 99 for a kilo. Oh, sorry, that's for 3 kilos. Would have said that's very expensive for carrots. Yellow pepper, 39 Rand 99 per kilo. And the Robertson's Cajun spice, we're paying 195 Rand 15 per kilo. And then an avocado, we are paying for about 24 avocados. We're paying about 120 Rand from a supplier at the moment. So this gives you a total recipe cost of 68 Rand and 22 cents. Plus that, 78 Rand 45. So this number is then divided by 4 to get 19 Rand 61. Then that is calculated. So remember I said you take your cost of your recipe and you divide it by 0.33 and it gives you 59 Rand 43. So this is what you have to pay for your or have to sell your Cajun chicken salad for at your customers at the moment. Okay, I'm going to switch over to my presentation again. Yes, there you go. So it's switched over. So then I want to tell you about this amazing app that Unilever has created. It's got so much information.
Looks like you're frozen.
Okay, it looks like I'm back. No sound. I'm so sorry, guys. I really don't know what is going on. As I said, the handout, and then these links will be available on the handout for you to use. And then I just want to tell you about my Instagram. There's a lot of inspiration on there. There's a little bit of personal stuff as well. So the past long weekend I went to Mozambique and we did some scuba diving, saw some amazing stingrays. So I'm creating a little video to add that on there. Saturday I did an amazing demo at an establishment in Pinetown, a Women's Day event. So I've added some photos onto my Instagram. So there's always like upcoming things and trends that I post onto my Instagram. So now we go over to any questions that anybody has.
Chef, can you talk about the app again? Somebody missed it.
Yes, so it's what I'll do, let me go back to it. There you go. So it's called Ufs Academy. You can download the app on your Play Store, on your phone. It's totally for free. there's these little snippets or videos that you can watch, and then there's a little quiz at the end of the video that you can fill in. If you get 100%, then there's a little certificate that it gives you that will send to your email address to say that you have completed it, and it's endorsed by Unilever as well as the South African Chef Association. Do we have any other questions?
No, Chef.
Not this far. Okay, let's put my face on again. Okay, another question about app info. Thank you so much for following me on Instagram. I really appreciate that. Then our next webinar, so our next webinar is going to be in 2 weeks' time. No, next week. Next week.
Chef Teboko.
Chef Teboko will be doing, Kasti, what is he doing?
Summer recipes.
Summer recipes. So get ready for Chef T and his summer recipes. The food costing sheet, can you send us a copy? So as I said, on the right-hand side of your screen, there is handouts. So you will see the whole presentation as well as the Excel spreadsheet that I've done the recipe costing on. You can download that and then you can use it with pleasure. If you have any other costing questions, you're more than welcome to pop me a message. You can always send me an email or send me a message on Instagram, and I can assist wherever possible. There is a lot of information on ufs.com as well on recipe costing. If we don't have any other questions, Cass?
Nothing, Chef.
Cool. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining my webinar. I'm so sorry about the technical issues. Hopefully we can get it sorted out ASAP. I'll check you all on Instagram. Cheers.